Hi everybody, Miro from Wheatland Realty here. Thank you for joining me today and welcome to Park Bench Plainfield, your local community website where we feature and share the stories of business professionals who live or work in the Plainfield area. Today my guest is Glenn and he's the founder of Forbidden Games. I hope that you enjoy his story and find it interesting. Glenn, thank you for joining me today and welcome to Park Bench Plainfield. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thanks, Merrill. Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for filling in. There's a backstory to the story here, but we'll save you the backstory. So why don't we just start with you telling us what it is that you do and how did you get into it?
Yeah, cool. So I have been a gamer my whole life, and since I was a kid, obviously, and this goes back to the 70s and board gaming, and then in the 80s, video games and all that as that evolved. And when I graduated college, I had a degree in history and political science, so of course there were no jobs that naturally fit that. And so I went into steel as the first job I could get, and I did sales, but it wasn't really a good fit for me. So I thought, what can I do with sales that kind of fits my passions? And so I looked at gaming, and the video game industry was evolving and emerging. And so I went looking for a job in the video game industry, designing games. And I flew out to Baltimore and sat down with Microprose, which was one of the new hot companies at the time, and they offered me a job as a quality assurance tester for other people's games, as kind of an initial entry-level job. And I was super excited, flew back to Chicago, told my wife, my new wife, hey, we get to move to Baltimore so I can play games for a living for $13,000 a year. And she pretty much shut that down. She's like, nope, that's not happening. I'm not leaving all my friends and family and life so you can go play games for a living.
And that's very understandable.
Oh, I didn't blame her a bit, but it broke my heart. And so I turned down the job. It was a dream job in the beginning of a career and turned it down. And I was sick about it and went back to my steel job. Earned some money, blah, blah, blah. A few months later, luckily, they called me back and said, hey, we see you have sales experience. How would you like to come in and be a salesman for the company instead of a game designer?
Right.
And the money's better, and you can stay in Chicago. Because I'm a Chicago born and raised. My wife and I both born in Downers Grove, and we didn't really want to leave and live elsewhere, but I was willing to do it for that, for that job. So anyway, we stayed in Chicago, and I went into the business side instead of the design side. And I spent about 20 years selling video games for companies like Activision, Microprose, Maxis, the SimCity people. And then I finished up with Activision in '99 and decided I was going to start my own company, where finally I could design and publish my own designs. And I couldn't afford video game budgets, but I could afford board game budgets. So I decided I would design and publish board games. And I launched a company called Eagle Games. And we did video game licenses like Railroad Tycoon, Sid Meier's Civilization, Age of Empires 3, and they were successful. So that was my first foray into board games with these video game licensed board games. Then I sold that company in 2006 and went back to the video game industry to actually earn money again, because board games are really fun, but not necessarily super lucrative. And I went back and worked for a company called PopCap, that had games like Plants vs. Zombies and Bejeweled and Zuma. And I was the director of sales for that company for 6 years in Seattle, but again, still living here.
Right.
And anyway, when that wrapped up, Electronic Arts bought the company, and I was eventually out of work, but had some extra money, so I started a new board game company here in Plainfield. Eagle was also based in Plainfield, by the way, on Route 59. And the new company is Forbidden Games. And we make kind of gateway games similar to Settlers of Catan or Ticket to Ride or games like that. And this is Raccoon Tycoon, which is our biggest hit right now. It's in Barnes & Noble, and it's going into a couple thousand other retailers this coming year. Very popular. It's on several top 100 games of all time lists.
Right.
Really well reviewed. And anybody can play it. Plays in about an hour.
Well, obviously you have a wealth of experience and you've been in this industry for 20 plus years.
I have.
What keeps you going? What motivates you? You still have so much drive and passion.
I do, yeah. It's really the creativity, and that's why I wanted to have my own thing, my own designs, my own games, because it's one thing to get up out of bed in the morning and sell somebody else's products. It's good money, it's a good career, but there's no passion, there's no excitement. Now I get to get up and create my own product line, and then go out and sell it, and market it, and publish it. And that's a rare gift. Not everyone gets to do that. They don't get to follow their dream and see their own creations on the shelves of retailers across the country.
Right. And as business owners, we all share challenges. What would you say has been your biggest challenge to overcome?
That's easy. I mean, the biggest challenge is always financing growth. As you grow your company, it requires more money, usually, especially in the first few years, to fund inventory and marketing and operations. So you actually end up putting more money into the company rather than taking money out of the company. So working for someone else is great because it's very secure. You get a paycheck, you can count on that paycheck every week. Doing your own thing is a little less sure, but it's obviously, as we said, a lot more fulfilling, and ultimately the sky's the limit. You can earn whatever you can earn. You can make a fortune if you do well. You're not stuck with that glass ceiling of just getting your paycheck. So it's good and bad.
Well, based on your experience, what would you say to someone who's thinking about starting their own business right now and they're filled with fear and doubt?
Definitely talk to people who've already done what you're doing. So not just business owners, but people who have specifically had a business that does what you do, and find out what the pitfalls are. Because what most first-time business owners don't understand is not only what it's going to take to get the business up and running, but what could go wrong. And there's a lot of things that can go wrong, right? A lot of surprises waiting out there. So talk to as many people as you can. Talk to experts on that specific business and business in general, and see what makes people successful and what caused them to fail. Because again, like most things in life and in business, the failures are what inform you and teach you and educate you and make you better. If you're just happen to luck out and be successful, you really probably don't know that much about how you did it. You just happen to luck out and make it work. So definitely talk to experts and people that have been there.
When talking about success, what would you say has contributed to your success over the years? What are the top 3 things? Maybe it's one thing, maybe it's a combination of things. Anything you want to share?
Yeah, I think experience, number one, right? As you say, I've been there, worked for other people, worked for myself, and at this point in my life, I've been doing it for 30 plus years. So that is a big factor in success, is having that information kind of already built in. I don't need to go talk to experts because I am the expert. So that's number one, having the experience. So that's kind of cheating, because saying, hey, new business owners don't have that. That's why you talk to people. But that's the secret to success.
But you can definitely leverage the experience of other people who've been down the road that you're getting on.
For sure. And when I started my first business, Eagle Games in 99, 2000, I did exactly what I'm saying. I actually went to trade shows, conventions, and sat down with business owners that had done what I was about to do. And it made all the difference, really. So experience that you get one way or the other, either through your own experience or through someone else's. Right. So that's number one by far.
Glenn, is there anything exciting happening with your business that you would like to share with people?
For sure. Yeah, we're going into our 3rd year with this young company, and one fun thing that's happening is that we're in a growth mode of getting our product into more stores. So I was just on the road for the last few months visiting chain retailers in their corporate headquarters. So we visited Barnes & Noble in New York City. We visited Books A Million down in Alabama. We visited Go the Game Store Calendar Club in Austin, Texas. And they were all excited about our products, which was kind of shocking, right? You believe in your own thing. You kind of think your stuff is cool, but to have people who see thousands of other products every year get excited about your thing is amazing. That really generates excitement and renews your, kind of energy levels.
Well, what's really cool, me sitting on this side of the camera, is hearing how a local Plainfield business, someone who lives here, is growing and expanding beyond the limits of Plainfield, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely, being a publisher, we're a worldwide business, actually. Our games are sold all over the world, and we've always been based in Plainfield, this company and the last company, but we're not a local business in the sense that we only cater to local customers. Our products are pretty broadly distributed in especially Europe, Australia, the English-speaking world. But our first product, this one, is now in Dutch, Spanish, and Italian, and is arriving in Europe this week.
Oh, wonderful.
In those languages.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you so much for joining me today
My pleasure.
for sharing your story with us.
My pleasure.
If you would like more information on Forbidden Games and would like to reach out to Glenn, all you have to do is scroll down to the bottom of this page and you'll see all the different ways that you can connect with him. And for those of you who would like to get a chance to share your story on this website, please go to www.parkbench.com/Plainfield and click on the request interview icon and we'll take care of the rest. Thanks for joining us, everyone. See you next time.